previous one. So we just let him introduce himself. Mr. Tamba, are you online?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. I'm Weir Tamba, research scholar at Amrita University, Kerala. So I'm just stepping in for Fatu, and who will join you later in the day. Maybe the second group, Fatu will be here with you. She's a little bit tight, so I just step in for now.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tamba. And then before we go to the participant introduction, I would like to once again thank all the judges who, despite their busy schedule as PhD students, they took the time out to make sure that they also contribute towards the development of the Gambian students in India. So to all the judges, we would like to say a very big thank you. And then we move to the introduction of the participants. We'll be having Haryana versus Andhra Pradesh for the first set of debate. So, participants from Haryana, if you're online, you can please introduce yourselves in order.
Yeah, I am Ali Sidi, representing Haryana State. I am studying Bachelor's of Pharmaceutical Sciences in Kurukshetra University. Thank you.
Hi everyone, how are you all? I'm Kumba Espa. I'm studying in Kurukshetra University, accountancy student, and I'm representing Haryana State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, participants from Haryana. So now, can we have the participants from Andhra Pradesh to please introduce themselves?
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. I am Buon Balon, written Nosin. I'm representing Enterprise. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bubakar Jallo. I am from Andhra University, and I will be one of the participants from who will be representing Andhra Pradesh. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, the contestants. So now we move to the introduction of the topic for today. Just a minute. Okay, so the topic for today is this House believes that Gambia shouldn't rely on foreign aid for its economic development. It says this House believes that Gambia should not rely on foreign aid for its economic development. I repeat for the last time, this House believes that Gambia should not rely on foreign aid for its economic development. So, with the topic, we have Haryana going in for the motion and Andhra Pradesh going against the motion. So, like we did before, same rules apply. 8 minutes per participant, and also make sure your points are clear, and then make sure you're straightforward and your points are clear. And also after the elaborations by both parties, we would have a question and answer session, whereby we will give the contestants an opportunity to ask each other questions, which is going to take roughly 2 minutes. 2 minutes for the questions, 2 minutes for the answers. Then from there, we will have the questions that will come from the judges. Then later on, we will give the judges time, and then uh, we will also open the floor before the results are finally announced. Thank you very much. So without wasting much time, we move to the debate proper. So Haryana is going in for the motion. So we'll let them start. So participants from Haryana, you can please start the debate.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges.
Just a second, Aliu. I would like a judge to volunteer to be the accurate timekeeper. Can one judge please volunteer to be the accurate timekeeper?
Okay, then let's see how we're gonna manage that. Okay, then.
Okay, I think yes. I think the judges would be busy, so that would be something else. Okay, no
Okay,
problem. Let me just.
are you busy or?
No, I just want to be monitoring, but it's okay. I can just do it like the last time.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Baji. Yeah. So Aliu, you can continue.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, my worthy opponents, and everybody that is tuning in to this wholesome event. My name is Ali Sedi, and I am representing Haryana State. My partner and I are supporting the motion which says that the Gambia should not rely on foreign aids for its economic development. I would like to give you a preview of my speech. I would start by giving some definitions and genesis of foreign aid, then I would go straight to my points, then I would provide a conclusion. Okay, I'll start by saying what is foreign aid. Literally, foreign aid means just foreign assistance. It can be in the form of grants, loans, or subsidies. Then we come to economic development. Economic development is programs, policies, and activities that are geared towards increasing the well-being of people or the quality of a community. Okay, the genesis of foreign aid. The first foreign aid in history was uh, occurring in the 1900s. It was put in place by the NGOs, primarily the Christian missionaries. So there was an interest there. Christian missionaries, meaning that they had a religious interest. Then the second one came after the Cold War, after the Second World War, which was during the Cold War between Russia and America. It was a political interest. Then the third one was during the colonization, which happened during between France and UK. They did that to gain support against the communists, particularly Russia. Then the last one, it happens in the 1980s. This was spearheaded by the WTO, the World Trade Organization. Then this one, it brought massive poverty rates in Africa, which led them to be giving out foreign aid. So why are they giving us foreign aid? And let me tell you something. Technically, in the WTO, one country, one vote. So I wanted to know why did USA end up with 60% of the votes, and 85% of the world population are from the global south, and they constitute just less than 50% of the votes. Is it not fraudulent? If this is not fraudulent, I don't know what is. And all the early indications of foreign aid shows us that it is interest based. So nothing is there that shows that it was geared towards our well-being. Then I would like to move on towards my point. The first point that I have is the economic interest that they have. During the 2008 economic crisis, there were programs by these foreign countries and organizations to bring in foreign aid in the forms of loans. But guess what? The interest rates were very high. So it was geared towards themselves again. The other one that I would like to put a comparison is Why? Can we ask this question? Why is it that foreign aid to Gambia is less than compared to other countries? Because number one, Gambia do not have the natural resources that most of these countries are looking for. Example, uranium, gold, and the likes. We don't. That's why our foreign aid is less compared to other countries, natural resources. So why? Every year, a transfer of wealth is taken from the poor countries to the rich countries. Over 200 billion, Mr. Chairman. Over 200 billion from poor countries to rich countries. What does this say? What does it say? It is not a foreign aid. These are control mechanisms, not foreign aid. So the other point that I would like to put across is foreign policy aims. They have their aims and they want us to abide by these aims. For example, in 2016, the EU told journalists that anybody who doesn't align with their foreign policies won't be given foreign aid. They won't. So what does that show? What does it show? And the Paris Declaration monetary survey, it shows that there should be an alignment between the donor and the recipient, and there is no alignment. Both of these facts are driven by the donor. Then the other one that I would like to put across is it leads to corruption, Mr. Chair. Corruption in Africa, most of the time, the foreign exchange, foreign aid is one of the main things that causes this corruption. Let me tell you something. There is a saying which says that sign the treaty or support the war, and your money will keep on coming. That is what is happening. In these agreements, it is stipulated maybe Gambia and USA, but it is not Gambia and USA. It is leader A and leader B. Then the other facts that I would like to put across is, let me see. Sorry. Political instability. Political instability in the country. We can remember that in 2016, during our impasse, what happened? There was a promise, right, of 225 million euros. What happened with that money? Can we ask ourselves what happened? We can. There was chaos all around. 2 years into Barrow's time, there were chaos. The money came, the money didn't come. How? How will we know? No, we can't. Because of these people, they put stipulations in place. If you don't follow these stipulations, nothing will come through. These are just this is just plain black and white, nothing else. So the other fact that I would like to put across is stigmatization. Africans are stigmatized due to the foreign aid that is given by other countries, right? If we are stigmatized, we can remember when the Queen died, what happened? All of our leaders were placed inside one box. Is that a VIP treatment or is it a VVIP treatment? It is none. So the other one, my other point is food aid. Food aid. Gambia relies on agriculture, right? We say it is our backbone, and they are giving us food aid. It is well documented that food aid kills the agriculture of a country. The Jahali and Pachar rice project, what happened to it? Was it not initiated with Taiwan? But China knew that. China were giving us a lot of aid compared to Taiwan. So they are not in good time. There is a friction between China and Taiwan. So Gambia will definitely choose China because they are getting more aid from China. So what next? What next? That project is no more. Who is talking about this project? No. So these aids are not for Africans, Mr. Chair. These aids are not for Africans because they are not aids. They are not aids. These are just interest-driven. With all the points that I have put across, we can come to the conclusion that all of them are interest-driven, and they are driven towards the donor, but not the recipient country. I will quote Angelique Kojo, a musician, activist, and pan-Africanist. She said that, why should you give us fish? Don't give us the fish. Show us how to fish. That's what we want. We want us to show us how to fish. If you are really saying that you want to help us, show us how to fish. Do not give us the fish because it can be mismanaged. Show us how to fish and see what will be the results. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to end by saying that this foreign aid, reliance on foreign aid is not for Gambia, and going forward, this is not the way for Gambians. We are known for our hard work and our self-reliance, and a prototype of this is Kunta Kinte, a hard-working man and somebody who doesn't rely on other people. So, Mr. Chair, I would like to say that we won't rely on foreign aid. We can cooperate if the foreign aid does not discriminate our economic development. But when it discriminates our economic development, we will not succumb to their selfish interests. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Aliu. So we move to the other side. Andhra, do we have participants
Yes,
from Andhra Pradesh?
yes, sir. Yeah, yes,
Okay, can you go ahead?
yes, I'm prepared. Okay, are you getting me? If I'm audible, you tell me. I guess it's I'm not yet. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, I
Okay.
can hear you.
As you speak to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. But if you speak to him in this language, that goes to his heart. Okay, and uh, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Judge, Timekeeper, Co-Debater, Police, I greet you all. I am Buombalo, already nursing in guidance under Pradesh. I am here to debate on the topic which says the Gambia should not rely on foreign aid for its economic development, which I strongly disagree. How can human civilization be teetering like this without grants and aid in a country? Together we gather here to discuss the motion that the Gambia should not depend on foreign aids for its development. While it is true that self-reliance is adequate goals, completely serving tied with other nations rejecting aid may not be the most practical approach for Gambia development. Allow me to present a few arguments to support this perspective. Grants and aids are monetary assistance given with or without interest. Aid help in industrial revolution and the rise of capitalism. Aid also help in the process ethics and the spirit of capitalism will lead to the fall of kings and the rise of nation state. Firstly, it's important to acknowledge that Gambia, like many other developing countries, face numerous challenges in achieving sustainable development. These challenges include limited resources, inadequate infrastructure, and lack of technical expertise. Relying solely on internal resources may not sufficient to overcome this obstacle. The following bodies will not have operate properly without aid. Department of State for Education, DOSA, in 2007, it was fully funded with the help of aid. DOSA was split into two entities, namely Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOPSI, and Ministry of Higher Education, Research Science and Technology, MOHAS. With the help of aid, these two bodies they are running parallelly smoothly with the help of aid in the country, promising on promise on the Gambia Vision 2020 program for acceleration development and employment page, as well as sustainable development goals, are all possible with the help of aid. How can a country run without aid? The development program of education in the Gambia in 1965-1970 formed the policy of framework for education policy in 1865 to 75, particularly targeted universal primary education. With the help of aid, this also achieved in the country. Education for All, Fast Track Initiative Education for All is an international initiative that began in 1990, which was aided by the World Bank in 2014. An initiative of EAN was aimed to bring the benefit of education to its citizens in the country. Without it, this also was not could not have been possible. In fact, the Gambia have grant-aided schools. These are schools that are run and managed by the board of governors under the supervision of a government, being non-paying school fee. Non-paying school, they receive grant from government. That could that also includes staff salaries and allowances. Without aid, this also could not have been possible in the country. Secondly, international cooperation and aid can foster economic growth and development by engaging in trade and partnership with other countries. The Gambia have accessed new markets, attract foreign direct investment, and promote transfer of technology and knowledge. This collaboration can lead to the job creation, increase productivity, and the development of new industry, ultimately boosting country economy. Without it, this could also not have been possible. even though even the Forum of African Women Education in Gambia, FAWICAM, Gambia Committee Against Harmful Traditional Practice, GAMPOTA, Women Bureau, BESCO, between 2010 to 2014, we are all aided to help Gambia develop itself. Furthermore, aid from other nations can play a crucial role in addressing immediate humanitarian crisis and provide essential service to the population. In time of national disaster, conflict, health emergency, international aid can provide life-saving assistance, including food, medicine, and shelter. Rejecting aid in such situation will leave the Gambia into a difficult state, reliable population without necessary support to recover and rebuild its life. Notwithstanding, the Senegal Brick Northbound Road in the Gambia College, University of the Gambia Airport, Department of State for Forestry, Department of Health, Basekolo, are all running smoothly with the help of aid. Let us break this down. Moreover, international cooperation also contributes to the development of the Gambia education health sector. Collaborating with other countries can facilitate the exchange of best practice training opportunity for professionals and also establishing partnership with renowned educational and medical institutions. Consequently, it is important to recognize that independence is fundamental aspect of globalized world we live in today. No country can thrive in isolation. By engaging with other nations, the Gambia can participate in regional and international forums, negotiate favorable trade agreement, and have a voice in global decision making. Even your stipend, I can say, Mr. Chairman, even your stipend, even the stipend, ICCR students are receiving is also aided. Remember when the stipend was delayed last time, one part of India was nearly come down because of the delay of stipend, which was also aided. How can we stay here and stay? The Gambia can't live without aid. The following institution: teacher training, reinforcement education sector, policy reform and school construction and teacher rehabilitation in the Gambia, education management training of unqualified teaching,
You
lower
have
base.
1 minute. You have
Primary
one
school,
minute now.
we are all possible because of aid. In conclusion, while the idea of self-reliance is commendable, completely serving tied with other countries and rejecting aid could not be the best developing country like the Gambia. Therefore, I have concluded that the Gambia cannot live without aid. If the Gambia say we are going to live without aid, our country will go only one-sided. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Buba from Andhra Pradesh. So now we move back to Haryana. Haryana, I think Kumba is on. Huh?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, and my co-debaters, and from wherever you are watching us from, I greet you all. I am Kumba Esba once again from Haryana State, and I am here to support the motion that Gambia should not rely on foreign aid for its economic development. First of all, Mr. Chairman, I just want to start by saying what is economic development, which is an increase in the country's wealth and improvement in the standard of living. So now, my co-debaters, how can EU nation dole us with aid to develop our countries and at the same time undermine our democracies? I strongly believe that Gambia should rely on domestic economy and not foreign aids, actually. I have not seen any reason why Gambia should rely on foreign aid for its development, not when we are blessed with the River Gambia that can help us boost our agricultural and fisheries departments. When it comes to agriculture, we are blessed with the River Gambia, and this river is one of the most important waterways in West Africa, actually. It can definitely be used to boost our agricultural sector. When it comes to agriculture, why I said the River Gambia can be used, because agriculture is the backbone of our economy as Gambians. and the river can be used for its development. About 3/4 of our population depend on agricultural sector and for livelihood, and the sector provides 1/4 of our GDP. So, Mr. Chairman, this river Gambia supports commercial fisheries and cultivation of rice and millet and other crops as well. So, with this cultivation, we can this cultivation can be done like throughout the year instead of seasonal. With these steps, like using irrigation to boost our agriculture, it's like we are not going to depend on rain. I mean, the rain, we can also depend on it, but it will only be primary. So with these steps, we can export our cotton and peanuts, just like the groundnuts, I mean, throughout the year without just waiting for the seasonal time. That is about 3 to 4 months rain. It cannot help us with anything in our agriculture. And we also have the tourism sector, which is very important in the Gambia. Like almost every year, many people, like many foreigners, visit the country for tourism purposes. And if concentration is done to this tourism sector, we can actually have a lot of foreign currencies and foreign exchange, I mean, to the country, because we have a very good climate. That's the superb climate that we have in the country, and then the friendly locals, and then the wildlife also. So all we need to do is to concentrate on the wildlife preservation, like the wildlife centers, to improve them very well, so that we can keep on having more foreigners coming into the country for tourism purposes every year. Also, the fishing departments, that means those who are in these fishing activities, there should be policies from the government or from our leaders on these fishing activities, so that actually they will know exactly how to go on with this fishing, so that we can continue exporting the fish that we have in our country. Yes, my next point is that the development of the Gambia is our sole responsibility as citizens. Wake up, Africa. There is nothing like free lunch anywhere, especially in the Gambia. These people, like this foreign aid things, is just given with an interest, because most of the times we individuals, or maybe ordinary citizens, we don't even know when there are aids given to our countries. So it's just something that we just hear about, and we don't actually know sometimes the amount and other things. These aids given to our countries are just the best interest, and continue and a way to continue colonizing us. Giving aids to the Gambia is in order to control us in their own ways. What I mean by controlling us in their own ways is that these European nations, if they continue giving us aids, they will also want to impose on us policies that are not part of our culture and traditions, and maybe even our religion will not accept it, like the gay system and also the lesbianism and others that cannot be accepted in our country as Gambians. So just as the saying goes, the hand that feeds you controls you. If we have to be accepting all these aids from them, it means they are going to continue colonizing us forever and ever. And then we will also may accept all these policies, and they don't conform, or they don't go with our laws and traditions, and maybe that is exactly what we are not known for. So we can't actually accept such kind of things from European unions, or maybe any other country that is giving us foreign aids. And the other thing is that we have micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the Gambia, which forms we contribute 20% of our GDP as Gambians. So this, why not we develop these enterprises, these medium, small, and enterprises, so that we can have exactly what we want. And also these enterprises employs 30% of the labor force. And this is a very good way to start. So if we have to concentrate and develop on those things, then there's no way we need foreign aid. Even if we need it, it's not just to rely on it. We don't need to rely on it for our development if we have all these things that we are blessed with in our country. So, Mr. Chairman, I strongly believe that it's not actually, relying on foreign aid is not a way for us Gambians, because we are blessed and we know it. It's just as a matter of concentrating on what we have and trying to work on it on our best, so that foreign aid will not be something that we actually need. We all know that. So I just conclude by saying that, the hand that feeds you controls you. So we actually not need foreign aid, and it's not a way to us. So I thank you all, Mr. Chairman and judges. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kumba. Um, Now we move to Andhra Pradesh.
It is stated that before you give a human fish, teach the human how to fish for him or herself. But in this case, I will say that if the human is starving, give him or her the fish rather than the knowledge of how to fish. For a starving human is in an urgent need. Mr. Chair, panel of judges, my fellow students, and the accurate timekeeper, I greet you all. Thank you to my colleague Mr. Mbalo for that wonderful start. So allow me to proceed to against the motion which states that the Gambia as a country should not rely on foreign aid. Mr. Chair, I will first start by highlighting the points I will be focusing on during my argument. My first point is going to be focused on how foreign aid change the development trajectory of many great countries today, and how it can positively impact the Gambian economy too if we are to rely on foreign aid. My second point is going to be how the pace of development is affected by foreign aid, and how the Gambia should focus on finding the shortest time possible to develop itself through foreign aid. My third point is going to be the impact of foreign aid, the impact that foreign aid has gotten on. My third point is going to be the impact foreign aid has gotten on the Gambia, and how difficult it would have been for the Gambia to attain those results in the absence of that foreign aid. And my last point is going to be how the current Gambian economy must rely on foreign aid to solve some of its problems due to its lack of financial might to meet its national budget's demand. So my first point is going to be how foreign aid changed the development trajectory of many great countries today. As a wise man once said, if you don't know what to do or how to do it, learn from the ones that have done it before you and gotten the best results. Dear esteemed members of this event, allow me to break this down for you. This verse simply means that the Gambia as a country should take an example from countries that were in its current economic situations decade before today, and see how international collaborations has changed their economic trajectory for good. Example, we have the great China and also Singapore and many other countries. China used to be a poor country with no great future. It was so underdeveloped that a country like Guinea Conakry, under the leadership of President Yahya of of under the leadership of President Sekou Toure, provided China with assistance. The Chinese government then decided to change their ways and welcome foreign countries to bring in assistance. And America was the first country that stepped in and invested and provided aid to China, which leaves the world with a surprise to see that China has caught up to national development and is now trying to compete with America today. And after receiving the foreign assistance, China then started booming and did its best to maintain its momentum to the astonishing position it is today in global economy. Dear members of this platform, my whole point of this story is to illustrate that if a country receives the right foreign aids, it can be positively impacted in terms of development. So a country like our Gambia should definitely welcome foreign aids. Here we have learned that foreign aid is very crucial to put a country in the path for to development. And moving on to my second point, I would like to talk about how the pace of development is affected by foreign aid. As we all know, time plays an important role in every aspect in life. In terms of development, we in, in terms of development, if we are to examine the effects of time on a country's development, we will see that it plays a huge role. Before I go further, I just want to compare the time it took for countries without any foreign aid to develop compared to the time it took countries that receive foreign aid to develop themselves. I will start with the United States of America as an example. The United States of America started its industrialization since around the 1600s, which is around 400 years now, and it took them approximately 4 years to get to this current stage of development. The reason for this long period of time is that there was no U.S. allies that were developed enough to provide any assistance to the United States. While China on the other hand, being a country that received foreign assistance since around the year of 1940, started catching up to the world, and now we all know the global ranking of China in terms of national and global development. And this great success can be accredited to the foreign aid China received. So, ladies and gentlemen of this great event, I believe we can all attest to the fact that the Gambia doesn't need to wait hundreds of years to attain the desired national development that we all wish for. With the right foreign aid, our great country will attain national development within a short period of time. On the other hand, if we are to look at the Gambia in terms of our global position, we would see that we are far behind, and we have a lot of catching up to do. The great countries of today have gone through so many different phases of development. Example, countries like England, USA, Canada, and Dubai, and so many other countries have gone through so many phases. These countries started with a phase of human labor, then they moved to a mechanical labor, and they are now trying to shift towards artificial intelligence labor. Within these phases, we know that the Gambia is definitely at phase one, which is the human labor. So why are we really lacking behind? To catch up to the world, we need to welcome foreign aids and invest it into developing our nation. And before I conclude on this point, I would like to say that we are living in an era where global economy and innovation are moving very fast. So the Gambia as a country doesn't have time to waste developing everything internally. So external assistance is a must if we want to catch up with the world. And we should, because nature doesn't give us a choice to lag behind, because it is a biological trait to keep on seeking progress. And Mr. Chair, I would like to proceed with my third point, which talks about the impact foreign aid has gotten on the Gambia. Members of this great event, to understand the impact of foreign aids, like for us to understand the impact foreign aid has had on the Gambia, we should really look at the great projects, initiatives, and funds that the Gambia is receiving and how it has impacted our country's development so far. Here is a list of foreign aids that the Gambia has received, and I will just keep it short because there are so many. In 2020, during the COVID-19 outbreak, the Gambia received 21.3 million from the IMF to help us sustain its economy in terms of inflation and high prices due to global supply chain disruption due to the COVID-19, and also to assist the medical sector to fight against the pandemic. Without this foreign aid like this, the Gambian economy would have been severely impacted. Also, let us look at the importance of the aids that is received by the Gambia from countries like China, India, Turkey, and many more in the form of scholarships for Gambian youths to further their education in well-established foreign countries where they are pursuing fields which are not provided within the Gambia's education system. Through these aids, great scholars are born and go back home to introduce fields and opportunities to their fellow Gambians or greatly contribute to the private or public sector of the Gambia. To keep it short, let me remind us that the Gambia is receiving aid support in infrastructure, its agricultural sector, energy sector, and climate. So my point here is that if these aids were to be stopped or never received in the first place, we would have seen a great hole. A great hole will be left in terms of our national development. So I hope we all agree that due to the situation Gambia is in right now, the Gambia should be receiving foreign aids to maintain its current progress in these sectors. And for my final point, I would just like to talk about how the current Gambian economy must rely on foreign aid to solve some of its problems. To understand this point I'm making, let let us look at the Gambia, which is a country whose annual GDP is approximately $2 billion, $2 billion, and the Gambia is on a budget deficit for a long period of time. For example, in 2018, the budget deficit was at negative 2.5%, and fast forward today, the deficit is at negative 4%, which is an increase in the scale, which is a very, very bad thing for our economy. And as we know, the Gambia is a country which is not diversifying its economy to its maximum potential. And when I say diversify, I simply mean introducing new industries and new infrastructure to the country, which will expand the sources of income for the people and the government in the form of tax, thus boosting the economy. Let us take Saudi Arabia as an example. Saudi Arabia is a country which used to depend solely on exporting oil to the global market, but it is now diversifying its economy to venturing into more
You
real
have
estate.
1 minute more. 1 minute.
Let us take Saudi Arabia as an example. Saudi Arabia, which is a country depending solely on exporting oil to the global market, but is now diversifying its economy by venturing into more real estate, tourism, and sports in order to expand their economy to be able to meet their future national budget needs. So coming back to the Gambia, we see that the Gambian government, due to lack of diversification, are forced to keep on increasing taxes in order to meet the national budget's increasing needs. And we all know what that leads to, and that leads to increase of prices, inflation, and lowering the living standard of the population. My whole point here is that the Gambia, being in the situation it is, it needs to accept as much foreign aid as it can in order to mitigate these national challenges, which result as a lack of diversification of the Gambian economy, as other countries are doing. So members of this great event,
Time is up. Time is up.
I hope I have convinced you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Jallo,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Mr. Jallo, for those elaborate deliberations. So now we move to Haryana State to start the question and answer session. Remember, one question per state and 2 minutes to answer.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. I want to ask my co-debaters one question. Do you think, actually, if foreign aid was going to develop our economy, do you think the Gambia would have been here by now? Because we have been receiving so many foreign aids yearly, and we are still considered one of the poorest countries in Africa. So I want to know.
Okay, that goes to Andhra Pradesh.
Yes, I would like to answer that. And so to my co-debater, what you mean is that sorry, can you repeat that again? Sorry.
Mr. Mbalo, I am asking that, do you think if foreign aid, like relying on foreign aid, would develop our economy? Do you think the Gambia would have been here by now after receiving so many foreign aids, but we're still counted as one of the poorest countries in Africa? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that. My name is Abubakar. So you are asking, with all this support with all of these foreign aids and support we are receiving, why are we still not developed? So I think you need to reframe your question, because development and foreign aid they go in hand, but in fact that's a problem for the Gambia, because if you have assistance, you are supposed to make use of the assistance. It is supposed to boost your progress. Instead, it is not supposed to take you backwards. The thing is, if Gambia is receiving all of these foreign aids, the thing is Gambia should have been developed right now, like Dubai, because if you have got assistance, what you have to do is to make use of the assistance. So the problem is not the foreign aid. The problem is the strategization and the application of these funds that is being allocated to the government. Because you guys are talking about when there is foreign aid, the foreign aid comes with policies. Yes, for example, in the sector of agriculture, when they give you these aids, they dictate what you have to do. But is the Gambia doing it? These governments,
You have 1 minute more to answer, Buba.
yeah. So we
Remember,
can
you only
see.
have 2 minutes to answer.
Yes, thank you. So we can see the problem is not the foreign aids. The problem is the application of the foreign aids. And to just keep it short, like you have just answered it because you have said the Gambia is receiving foreign aid. So on top of that, with the Gambian economy combined with the foreign aid, the Gambia should have been developed now. So the problem is not from the aid, it's from the usage of the aid. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Kumba, you are not satisfied. Kumba, you are not satisfied. Can I
Buba.
conclude?
So, no. It's
I'm saying,
just one question, one answer. Yeah. So now, you people will have the opportunity to ask Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah, so Mr. Mbalo, let me go first, please. And my question is, the Gambia, as we with our current internal abilities and our current internal economy combined with all of these foreign aids, we are not yet developed. If you were to stop these foreign aids, will it take us backward or will it take us forward? Because if you combine our country's output plus all the foreign aids, we are still where we are. If you were to take that foreign aid away, are we going to progress or are we going to deprogress? Thank you.
Hello. Mr. Chair, it seems like my opponents, they've missed the point. They've missed the whole point because we are saying that we shouldn't rely on foreign aid for our economic development. That's what we are saying. We are not saying that we do not need it. When it comes to cooperation, we are not to be the best Gambians. We cooperate everywhere. We are saying that we shouldn't rely on foreign aid and we shouldn't. Well, it undermines our sovereignty. Relying on foreign aid, it undermines our sovereignty. And they are making a mistake on this point. Economic development and economic growth are two different things. Economic growth is quantitative, and economic development is both qualitative and quantitative. Economic growth is for a certain level of time, and economic development is a lifelong process. We are talking about a lifelong process. Should we rely on foreign aid for the lifelong process? He even said it. With all this aid that we are receiving, we are still here. We cannot rely on foreign aid, Mr. Chairman, and that's not the way going forward as Gambians. We should put in mechanisms rather than uh, relying on foreign aid. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Lama. So now I think we will move to the judges now to
sir, I think
ask their
it's too.
set of
I think it's
questions.
Mr. B, I think it's too question.
Ah,
We should ask two questions. Then two answers for them.
okay. Let me consult with the judges and see if we have enough time for that. Mr. Fai, Mr. Baji, and Mr. Tamba.
Okay, Mr. BI. Hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I think we can allow the second participants to ask each other as we did
To
earlier.
ask, huh?
Yes,
Okay,
because yeah,
no problem. Because I was considering the time factor, but then it's
exactly,
okay.
yes. Maghrib will be soon. I
All
think
right.
it's already Maghrib, but we can just allow them to finish. Then from there we can proceed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, okay,
I have a question. I
okay.
wanted to
So
ask.
we have, uh,
Can I go ahead?
mm-hmm. Yeah, you wanted to ask who,
Yeah,
me?
no, I wanted to ask Kumba, but let me direct to Mr. Lamaran. Can you give me the similarity between economic growth and development, since you have objected what we are discussing about this similarity between economic growth and economic development?
Okay, Mr. Mbalo, it seems like the guy is still not satisfied with the point, but I would like to tell you one thing. Although they might be similar in one way, but they are very different. In fact, the discrepancy overweighs the similarities. The only similarity that I can think of is they are both progressive. But now, let me tell you one thing. The progressiveness, there is where the problem comes. I told you that economic development is a long-term process, lifelong, and economic growth is for a certain period of time. It is limited. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ali. So now we have questions coming from Haryana to Andhra Pradesh. The second participants, please. Yes, Haryana, Aliu and Kumba, are you on?
Okay, the guy was making a mention of Singapore and China's model of fast growth. Is the guy really sure they
Is
depended
it
on
a
the
question or an observation?
Yeah, it's both. So what I wanted to say is because the guy was making a mention of Singapore and China, and all that while when he was giving his speech, he was giving examples of
Is,
foreign countries. But
is
I
it
like
part of your question, Aliu? Because
yes, yes, yes.
we
I
are
would
only
like
taking direct questions.
yes, okay. He made a mention of
All right.
Singapore and China relying on foreign aid for their development. So I would like him to elaborate on that because is the China and Singapore really use a foreign aid model to get to this point? I doubt any country will.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Laman, I understand your point. Yeah, I was talking about China and how they got developed through foreign aids, right? And so looking back at China in 1940, they had, can I go on? So looking back at China and at China's trajectory of development, China was when America saw China, they saw that China they had the population. That means that they have the potential economic growth. So and what was missing is that the industrialization, everything was based on human labor. So what China did, what USA did, they came in and provided assistance and which was directed towards industrialization. You can see now that's the result of what we have today of China. China is now becoming the industrialized zone of the world, and that started when United States stepped in and provided assistance to industrialize the country. Because you like most of these countries, when they invest into a country, they are hoping for returns. So they saw China, like China, they had the population and also the labor was very cheap at China, so they invested. Now China shifted towards from human labor to mechanical labor. Now that mechanical labor is what fosters growth, and now you can see that China is still maintaining this momentum. That's to this current state they are right now. So it was that assistance and investment that changed everything. So if Gambia right now if we were to shift from human labor to mechanical labor, that is by the use of industries to process and grow whatever we need, you would have seen that the Gambia would have been in a very, very positive trajectory when it comes to our development. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Aliu. So now we have the judges to ask their questions.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to ask this question. What role can good governance and anti-corruption measures play in reducing the need for foreign aid? I repeat, what role can good governance and anti-corruption measures play in reducing the need for foreign aid?
Okay, I think we will start with Haryana.
Okay, Mr. Thank you very much for the question. Okay, what I would like to say is we know the MSMEs, that is the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the Gambia. They comprise of 30% of the labor force in the Gambia, and they contribute about 20% of the GDP. Like in good governance, they would have poured more money and investment into that area, and that would have increased our economy, our GDP, and our economy, and it would project it forward, and it would reduce the reliance on foreign aid, because foreign aid is not the way forward. It is just a neo-colonialist apparatus. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you very much, Aliu. So now we move to the opposition side.
Yes, thank you for that question. I would like to go first, Mr. Mbalo. So looking at the question, there are very, very important key points here. You made mention of good governance and anti-corruption. So when we talk about good governance and anti-corruption, they are almost most likely connected here, because it's to avoid all is to avoid as much as foreign aid as we can. So one of the things that is causing corruption when it comes to the Gambia is mostly about the institutional structures. What do I mean by institutional structures? I'm talking about all the passages that these funds pass through. If you don't put a good structure or a perfect structure, there will be these corruptions. I will give you an example. When you want to apply for the Gambian passport, now you are not going to the office to apply, because they can be corrupted and take some of the money. Now you have to go through a bank, where now the government don't work with the office that is actually initiating the passports. The government works with the banks. You have to pay to the banks. Then this money is not going to the office. And if this money was going to the offices, you would have seen that these offices might misuse these funds, or take some. But if the Gambian government can apply good institutional structures, we will see that these corruptions will be totally eradicated. Thank you.
You have 1 minute. 1 minute. Thank you. Okay, so the second correction coming from the judges.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. My question is: are there historical examples of countries that have successfully developed their economies without heavy reliance on foreign aid? I repeat, are there historical examples of countries that have successfully developed their economies without heavy reliance on foreign aid? Are there historical examples of countries that have successfully developed their economies without heavy reliance on foreign aid? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fai. Yes, there are countries actually that do not heavily rely on foreign aid and were well developed, like Singapore, and we also have Dubai. Yeah, those two countries I can say as examples.
Okay, from the opposition side.
Yeah, so maybe my opponent is not very available, but I will attempt to answer this question. So, yes, I would say yes. There are countries that can be there are countries that can be said that they have developed without heavily depending on foreign aid. We have a lot of examples. For example, I can say Russia, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, which is embedded of 7 countries combined together. All of these countries, they don't depend on foreign aid. So what they depend on is through the natural resources that they have, which is what human resource, and mostly is going is and the other aspect is the resources that they have, that they are blessed with, that is in their soil. For example, the oil in Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates, and also in Russia. These countries, instead of them receiving foreign aids, they are the ones providing foreign aids to other countries in the world. So yes, they exist, and they did it through like self-improvement, from which is spontaneous growth from within, and they are now providing support to other countries. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we take the last question from the judges.
Yes. My question is, am I audible? Yeah. Hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you, Mr.
All right.
Baji.
Fine. My question is, can foreign aid potentially affect the sovereignty and self-reliance of a country or of the country? Can foreign aid potentially affect the sovereignty and self-reliance of a country?
Okay, Mr. George, thank you for that question. And I would like to compliment my honorable opponent for reiterating the points that we made about reliance on foreign aid, because he has given us points. Thank you very much for that. There are countries that did not rely on foreign aid heavily. Then he has given us points. Thank you very much. Then, yeah, uh, it affects the sovereignty of countries. I made a mention of that. I made a mention of in 2016, the EU, they told journalists that plain, if you do not follow their foreign policy aims, they wouldn't give you anything. Your money won't be coming, and you are out of it. They might even put in some scarce sanctions against you. That's the problem with these people. Your sovereignty is affected. You will bow down to them once you start receiving uh, aid from them, because this is not entirely aid. I told you, it is either economic or a political aid. It is not geared towards our development. It is geared towards their own interest. Thank you, Mister.
Thank you very much, Ali. So we have the opposite side.
I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Thank you, sir, Mr. Baji. I have heard your question. I I think people are getting it wrong here when they say that when when you are given foreign aid from another country, you'll be controlled. It depends on how the bilateral agreement is signed. But there are foreign aid that are in the country, especially in the Gambia, but also we are still having our sovereignty. So I don't think it's affect your sovereignty depend on like, because before you sign a treaty, you put things in order. So not actually, if I give it foreign aid, I have to control you. I have to control. No, it doesn't work like that. So that's my contribution on your question. If I understood it very well.
Okay, can I come in, Mister?
Mr. BI, since we have the time,
Yes.
can I continue?
Ah?
Since we still have the 2 minutes, can I continue?
No, I think he just responded, right?
Yeah, we have the time remaining.
Okay, okay. You have only 1 minute to do that.
Okay, Mr. Lamarana, thank you for reminding me that. But remember, I did not mention Gambia when I was counting the countries that did not rely on foreign aid. I mentioned other countries. Gambia was not there. Yeah, remember that. And also, when we talk about the potential of a country's sovereignty being undermined, how about if we try to observe this whole scope from a different point? I will ask you, if you were to invest in a company, or if you were to give someone something, would you like to know where those investments would be going into, or would you not know what is the purpose, or try to contribute? So when you are talking about countries that are trying to use foreign aid to co-host countries, there are countries we know that Germany and United States, but China, you can see how China is now becoming friendly to Africa, because China, they don't mitigate in your foreign affairs. They invest only to develop you. You can see all of these roads that they are building for Africa. We need them. They are not just giving us these aids and commanding us what to do. They are giving us these aids and also helping us to know where we are supposed to put our aid. So instead of thinking of our sovereignty is being undermined, think of it
Anwar, you
as
have
also
30
an
seconds.
assistance that is being produced because of their experience. They are now like allocating, telling us where to invest more when it comes to these aids. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the
Can I come in, please?
participants from both. Who is that?
Ali said,
No, no. I think this session is okay for now. So now we'll just open the floor to the judges to tell us the next plan of action.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, but
Yes,
Mr. Barnes, I think we've
yes,
come to the end of the debate.
yes. For this session now, we can take a break of 20 minutes, then we will pray, then we'll come back for the next session. So the results will be
Or
announced after, all the results will be announced after the next session.
the next session. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So we take a 20 minutes break and resume for the next session later. Thank you.